17th century. Second heading, Indian states and society. Late 17th century. Indian politics started facing major changes. Now this should be a question mark. What was those major changes in the Indian politics? Uprising, revolts, Sikh revolt, Maratha revolt, Afghan revolt, Jat revolt, Bundela revolt. And then 18th century. End of Mughal Empire. End of Mughal Empire. And then on the debris of this Mughal Empire, Mughal Empire's debris led to the birth of two types of states. One was succession states, and other was rebellion states. Succession states, Avadh, Hyderabad, Bengal, they were succession. The governors declaring their autonomy and independence, and then followed by their successors. And rebellion states, Punjab, Maratha, Jat. Overall, their political structure was same. Overall political structure was same. But there were differences because of local conditions. Overall, their political structure was same. So on the debris of Mughal Empire in 18th century, two types of states came into existence. So it is not that with the end of Mughal Empire there was a political darkness in this country. No. Two types, succession, Awadh, Hyderabad and Bengal, and then rebellion, Punjab, Maratha, Jat. Overall their political structure was same, but they had differences due to local conditions. Now what they did, these states, what was their contribution? They took legitimacy from Mughal ruler. Legitimacy. They ruled independently, but legitimacy, I told you, Mughal ruler still had the presence in the mind of the people. Then, the spirit and method of administration was same. Was Mughal in nature. The spirit and method of administration was Mughal in nature. Decentralization between chief, Jagirdar and Zamindar. You have to equally divide the plunder among yourself. Otherwise the other party will rebel. This man knows that you have no connection with the boss. So you have to give something to him also. And he knows that both of you don't have any connection with the boss. He will rebel. So decentralization. Everyone will plunder. Every ruling unit will plunder. Fourth, no discrimination. No discrimination on the basis of religion or caste. No discrimination. Non-communal politics. Non-communal politics. There was nothing related to religion and all. Non-communal. They took legitimacy from the Mughal ruler. Ruler has become the stamp head. Spirit and method of administration was Mughal in nature. Decentralization. No discrimination in appointment or giving the charge. Non-communal politics. Maintained law and order. Provided viable economic condition. Viable economic and political condition. These succession and rebellion states. Almost legitimacy from the Mughal ruler, spirit and method of Mughal administration, decentralization. All the ruling units will divide equally. No discrimination, non-communal politics, maintained law and order, viable economic condition. But they all were rent extracting states. All. Nothing else. Rent extracting states. They were not bothered about any fundamental change. All of them were rent extracting states. All. Rent extracting states plus were not concerned to the new order. Concerned to the new order which has come forward in West. So this blame that there was a political anarchy with the end of Mughal Empire, there was anarchy, there was a collapse of law and order, is a wrong blame. Whatever anarchy and collapse of law and order was because of the British interference in internal matters of Indian states. This blame on the Indian states, the blame on that there was anarchy and collapse of law and order. No, not at all. This was because of British only. British interference in internal matters of Indian states. And finally, the British has to deal with these states to occupy the Indian subcontinent. So now we'll start these states one by one. And first one, so in the previous class, I said that anarchy and breakdown of administration was not because of the decline of Mughal Empire, but it was because of the British interference in the state, internal matters of Indian states. The Indian states, which were born on the debris of Mughal Empire, they took the nominal allegiance of Mughals. They maintained law and order. They maintained proper administration, no discrimination, no communal politics. Now, example. The first example, Hyderabad. Now, Hyderabad, 1720. Nizam al-Mulk Qasab Jha has played a very important role in eliminating Sayyid brothers. So when you do something, you get a reward. So 1720 Nizam al-Mulk got a reward, and that reward was viceroyalty. Viceroyalty of Deccan. This was the reward to Nizam al-Mulk. Nizam al-Mulk has played a very important role in the elimination of Sayyid brothers. So reward. But naturally he was going to get the reward, and he got the reward, viceroyalty of Deccan. A very prominent viceroyalty, which was basically given to Mughal princes, but now it is to Nizam al-Mulk. 1720 to 22. He suppressed the entire opposition. He suppressed the entire opposition. It was a big charge to him. So definitely the rivals stood up against him. He suppressed administration and he reorganized administration in Deccan. Means he was doing his homework. 1722-22. He was doing his homework in Deccan. Suppressing all the rebels and opposition and reorganizing administration. 1722. He became the Wazir of Mughal Empire. Who? Nizamul Mulk. 1722 he became the Wazir of Mughal Empire. But you know, Muhammad Shah Rangila, weak mind, frivolous, ease to luxury, entertaining the flatterers, taking the bribes from the courtiers. How can you survive with this type of man? You see, sometimes when you get this type of man, people in your family, just see Nizamul Mulk. He is very talented. Nizamul Mulk is talented. And Muhammad Shah, he is weak mind. He is frivolous. He is entertained by flatterers. He takes bribes. Share in the bribes taken by the courtiers. How can this man survive with him? This happens in family also. It becomes very challenging. When you live with such type of people who don't understand what you are doing, you are creating something. You are trying to uplift the family. And the people around you, they are bringing down the family. So you are going to get irritated. This must be happening with many of you. You must be trying to become Nizamul Mulk, to uplift your family, to uplift yourself, your friends. But the people around you, they are trying to bring themselves down and they are trying to bring you also down. What he will do? What he did? 1724. He leaves for Deccan. 1724 he leaves for Deccan, and this becomes the physical breakup of Mughal Empire, which we have already discussed. It's better. It's a very good step. When you see that the people around you are not understanding you, it's better to leave them. See the solution? Physical breakup of the empire starts. Now what he did, after reaching to Deccan, he tried to create Hyderabad as a separate state for him. So, nominal allegiance. Nominal. He never declared his independence. Nominal allegiance to Mughal Empire. But in reality, he was independent. In reality, he was independent. How can we say that in reality he was independent? He distributed Jagirs. He appointed officers. He made wars. He made treaties without the reference of the Mughal Empire. So nominal allegiance, nominal. Just to satisfy the psychology of the people, because Mughals were still in the minds of the people, we have already discussed. So to satisfy the sentiment of the people, nominal allegiance to the emperor, but in reality he was independent. He gave Jagirs, he gave officers, he appointed officers, he waged wars, he concluded treaties without the reference of the emperor. And this shows that he is carving out an independent kingdom for himself. This was the first thing he did. Then, non-communal politics. Non-communal. This feature I have already told you. Non-communal politics. Evidence. Puran Chand was his Diwan. Puran Chand was his Diwan. Non-communal politics. Puran Chand was his Diwan. As he was a Mughal governor, so he reintroduced Jagirdari system. Jagirdari. He reintroduced Jagirdari, very efficient Mughal structure, Jagirdari system. That is Mughal pattern of administration. Mughal pattern of administration. He did not allow Marathas. Did not allow Marathas to enter into his territory. Did not allow the Marathas to enter into his territory. Means law and order, peace, stability. And the biggest thing he tried to do was, he tried to end what? Corruption. Where? He tried to end corruption in revenue department. These were the works of. So, in the previous lecture I said that the states which emerged on the debris of Mughal Empire, they tried to maintain law and order, they were non-communal, they did not discriminate, they gave promotion to trade and commerce. See the example. For legitimacy they connected themselves with the emperor. So he is connecting himself, nominal allegiance. But in reality he is independent. Then non-communal, Puran Chand is his Diwan. Then Jagirdari system, Mughal pattern of administration. He did not allow the Marathas to enter into his territory. He gave a long spell of peace and stability to Hyderabad. That will promote trade and commerce. And he tried to end corruption in revenue department. 1748, he died. 1748, he died. 1748. He died. And then Hyderabad became the victim of the black eyes of European companies. We'll discuss in the next chapter. Carnatic. Next Suba. Carnatic. Carnatic was among the Mughal Subas in Deccan. And as Hyderabad was under Delhi, Carnatic was under Hyderabad. And as Hyderabad made independent to itself from Delhi, Carnatic made it independence from Hyderabad. And they were called as Nawabs of Carnatic. Northern Tamil Nadu. Who was the founder? Sadatullah. Sadatullah was the founder, succeeded by Dostali. Dostali succeeded by Anwaruddin. And Anwaruddin was facing challenge from Chanda Sahib. And the struggle of the two became the opportunity for English and French to establish their feet in India. This was the first example of the states on the debris of Mughal Empire. Hyderabad and Carnatic. Next example, Bengal.